thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. And you are listening to Art Meets Life, and I'm your host, LJ Bowens, spoken word artist, author. Sometimes I tap dance, sometimes I do a lot of things, but this show's about poetry for the day. So I definitely want to be happy giving y'all this show, and I definitely want to give thanks for everybody that's tuned in. So we're into our third week of the show, which means they haven't cut the lights off yet. So we're still here, we're still having fun, we're still giving y'all some good poems, and we're gonna still keep this thing moving because it's the good thing to do. So how are we gonna start this show off this week? I got a good idea. So in the climate that we live in, of course, y'all know we're in the Trump era. So, the Trump era means that you're either one side or the next. So I couldn't think of a better way to start this show without giving my host take on social climate and social commentary. But I figured I'd have two people do it for y'all. So coming with y'all with a poem is going to be the poets known as CB and the phenomenal man known as Ed Mabrey, who will be giving y'all a group poem. And this poem is called Dear America. It may be called something else. It could be called Dear Black America. Could be called Dear White America. But we're going to call it Dear America here for the show today. So once again, you guys are tuned in to Art Meets Life here at WDRB Media, the voice of the community.
Dear White America, you've been chasing a ghost. The one you seek is among you.
The enemy does not carry a copy of the Quran.
That would be unfashionable. He does not resemble a cartoon caricature of a turban-topped extremist. That could be damaging to his carefully coiffed appearance. He does not belt out such classic one-liners as jihad or durka durka. He does not rock a hoodie. He's about yay tall, dons a suit and tie, works about 40 miles southwest of Baltimore, and he looks an awful lot like you and me. He spends his days kissing babies and his nights signing your rights into oblivion. His only interest is in protecting the empire and his 1% status. Perhaps you might see better if you close your eyes.
Dear Black America, you've been duped. The enemy no longer comes clad in hood and sheet. He or she also dons business attire, bears pigments and tones reflecting every flavor of the rainbow. Smiles in your face. You never know until a slip of the tongue lands them on YouTube.
My fellow Americans, I bring a message to you today.
They are among you, all the way up the food chain. The Manchurian candidate almost had it right.
They just cast Denzel as the wrong character.
And the reality is the powers that be packaged their politics in a shiny new rapper, and you bought it.
Everyone bought it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yet each day we lose another freedom and nothing's changed
except the signature on the dotted line.
And while it may conjure Twilight Zone tendencies, the terrorists wear suits now. Yet many of you have gone deaf to the fact that they're still singing the same old tune. But if you listen closely, you can hear it.
This is the new sound, just like the old sound, just like the new sound.
If we continue down this path, one day our children will look back right about us and say,
the masses rejoiced as they filed into the slaughterhouse, making it increasingly difficult to discern between their laughter and their squeals. There's a thin line between laughter and panic, hope and fear. Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm not here for your applause. I'm not here to be your friend.
I'm here because each day we move further into the Orwellian present.
And whatever the hell I've been doing with my life obviously hasn't been enough.
I have a baby girl now.
My son just left for college, and I don't want him growing up with built-in GPS tracking. Slavery happened.
The Holocaust happened.
9/11 happened. The truth is staring you right in the face.
But many of you are too afraid to see.
I'm willing to risk accusations of prejudice because it's that important for you to understand.
The Kool-Aid is laced with cyanide.
The carrot dangling from that stick is poison, and there's an invisible electric fence around your hopes. Ladies and gentlemen, I realize my opinions aren't popular. I'm not here for your approval. I'm here to save you from yourselves.
It's not the 1% that are hurting you.
It's the 99 that aren't helping you. The first black man in the White House
is less groundbreaking than the first black man in a White's house.
It's still just a man squatting in someone else's house, playing by someone else's rules.
Hope is wishes, passive-aggressive little sister.
Hope ain't paying my medical bills.
Hope isn't increasing my vacation days.
Hope didn't get my lecture cut off or back on. Hard work did, common sense did, I did.
You can shoot the messenger if you want to. The message will still remain. To
make change, you have to be change. Where we go from here is up to you. That's what my man Mr. CB. Appreciate him for helping me out with this duet. Big ups.
Despite everything we've been through, we still appreciate the South. We've come a long way, we still got a long way to go. This is my southern heritage. You see, I am the product of gunshot marriages. See, it's not considered a sin for cousins to marry their close kin. Not where I'm from, everybody got curly hair and light skin. Where old folks would pinch the baby nose, cause we hope that it won't grow. You see, I'm from that place where they say it must be something in the wall. See, I am the slave and the master's great-great-great-granddaughter. I'm one of the prettiest southern belles your eyes ever seen. Careful now, cause I might be barely 13. You see, I have master's hazel green eyes, but I inherited mammy's thick brown thighs. And whether I was in the house or in the fields, I am the plantation and cotton fields. You see, I am the whips on my ancestors' back, and I am the chain gang working on the track. See, I stole this land from my Indian brothers. I even went to Africa and took their mothers. But in spite of everything, this is my South. And guess what? I love her. Now, I always wanted to grow up in New York. I love the way y'all dress and show, like the way y'all talk. But for whatever reason, when you spend your summer vacations down here, your kids end up staying to start the school year. Cause see, down here, we raise chillin' in the South. And if you talk back, you got the taste smacked out your mouth. And there was no such thing as being homeless, cause you can always sleep on somebody's couch. You see, we walked dirt roads and caught tadpoles in the ditch. And when you got out of line, well, they sent you out there to break your own switch. See, I'm from that place where we be trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. And I am that wired fence. And I am tire swings and ringworms. I'm a little girl stick plaits because she's not getting a perm. See, I'm that funkified smell down at the paper mill. And I'm that grandmother putting her tithes in the offering cause Jesus gonna help to pay the bills. Hallelujah, I don't think y'all feel. You see, I'm screened in porches while swapping flies. I'm annual family reunions on the 4th of July. I'm quarts of Kool-Aid that's way too sweet. And at dinner time, everybody sits down together to eat. See, I'm a Sunday morning service, not gonna end at 4 o'clock. See, I'm a Sunday afternoon in an open field ballpark. I'm that mother on the porch yelling, get in here before dark. See, I'm a tide at sunrise for fishing down at the docks. I'm even homemade wine, granddaddy and them called that moonshine. You see, I live in a place where nobody's heard of exactly, but it's just like any other small town in North Kakalaki, where grandmamas hand make their quilts, and we plow the land that our forefathers built, where hunters, they just can't wait for deer season, and those snot-nosed kids stay on the back of the blueberry bus teasing. But for whatever reason, can your mouth ever forget waking up to a breakfast of fish and grits and soul food at Big Mama's house? That would include fried chicken and collard greens. We got baked macaroni, cornbread, and butter beans. Grandmama's sweet potato pies plus candied yams. We got turkey and stuffing, and who says they don't eat ham? We got pig feet, chitterlings, and smothered cabbage. And oh, by the way, we just don't eat anybody's potato salads. You see, these rocky dirt roads, these are stories untold, and through them, it's my South history that unfolds. And it doesn't matter how far away I may roam. See, I know I can always come back home, because I love this place, despite how others may feel. And I'm proud to be from Carolina, home of the Tar Heels. Y'all come back now, you hear?
All my life been poor, but it really don't matter no more. And they wonder why we act this way. Now before it's gonna be okay. All my life been poor, but it really don't matter no more. And they wonder why we act this way. Now it's gonna be okay.
Once again, you are tuned in to Art Meets Life here at WDRB Media, the voice of the community. And once again, I'm your host, LJ Bowens. And of course, I'm here still giving y'all some poems from some of these well-known artists across the country. And, you know, hopefully the world will be tuned in too, so they can send some of their poems. We maybe give y'all some poems in a different language. That doesn't mean I'm going to know what they're saying, but it's still poetry. So hopefully we get to that point. The next poem we got coming up, you know, this poet that's getting ready to come up is a poet coming all the way from Tampa, Florida. And one thing about this poet is he's a good friend of mine. In my honest opinion, he's probably one of the most underrated poets here in the country, and it's definitely gonna be a blessing that you guys get to hear him, because he's been doing so much. He's had numerous chapbooks. If you guys have been on Facebook or Instagram and you know people that are poets, or you seen somebody walking around or took a picture with a t-shirt that says "Ask me to do a poem," it derived from this poet getting ready to come up now. So giving y'all a poem about being Superman. It's going to be a poet by the name of Dennis Amadeus talking about him being Superman. So once again, this is Art Meets Life here at WDRB Media. I'm your host, LJ Bowens, and always remember that you are tuned in to the voice of the community.
When I was younger, my favorite comic book of all time was The Death of Superman. As an avid Marvel Comics reader, I thought there was nothing more glorious than seeing the most ridiculously overpowered character in the history of the universe get beaten to death by Doomsday. I mean, seriously, Superman is a terrible comic book. There's no real struggle, no real sense of danger, so to me, there was never any real story. And I always wondered, why even waste my time reading this boring stuff? Especially when I already had my own version of Superman in my life. My older brother. And his story of a bad guy gone good is a greater superhero tale than any of those hack comic writers could create. In 2004, my brother tried to rob a bank. Now, I like to call that the day his planet Krypton exploded, because that severe lapse in judgment rocketed him to a year-long sentence in a federal penitentiary. Wait, what's that? It's a slave. It's a jailbird. No, it's a black man who saw himself as much more than the typecast roles this world's forced him into. His time spent in that fortress of solitude gave him a full rotation around the sun, unlocking this unparalleled strength. He stopped the speeding bullet of his life and propelled it towards law school. Manifesting this drive that was more powerful than a locomotive, he didn't just leap a tall building in a single bound. He hurdled the bar. He became indestructible, unable to be defeated by anything. So I can't even begin to imagine how bizarro he must have felt when doctors told him they discovered kryptonite sprouting from inside his own body. Maybe that's why he didn't tell anybody about his diagnosis for 4 years. When my brother's dark side was finally exposed, his secret identity died along with his invulnerability. He no longer had the luxury of Clark Kenting his loved ones from his pain, and that S on his chest became a permanent indicator of his fight against Doomsday. And even though it was a fight to the death, even though his body became a bigger burden than Lex Luthor, even though his dedicated Lois Lane left his side, he still refused to represent anything other than his source. He refused to not shine. That's why 2 years later, after all those parasite attacks, all those surgeries to remove the icy breath of death from lungs, the knowledge that this arch nemesis would keep popping up with more issues, I still demanded that he flew me to his metropolis. And not because I wanted to see him in his last days, but because I wanted to party with a Superman again. The truth is, there is no story arc dark enough that could have prepared me for what I saw. Because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to cart a Superman around in a wheelchair. I wasn't ready to see Kal-El, bedridden, coughing blood into tissues. I wasn't ready to see him with more pill bottles and champagne bottles. To me, he would be fine. I mean, to me, he was the man of tomorrow, and tomorrow never dies. So I refuse to accept that would be the end of the series. The death of Superman took on a new meaning to me when he finally passed away. There's an uncomfortable truth that is exposed when great men meet even greater monsters. No matter how super a man is, they will always suffer from the limitations of being a man. And sometimes, there is just no happy ending for the good guys, even if they're the Man of Steel.
We need a movement, not a moment, because a moment of silence, have silenced us for far too long. There's a war going on, and it starts in our very own homes. You see, we need a new agenda. We wrote letters to Congress, and the yellow envelope came back, returned to sender. We cannot surrender. See, we are still slaves. Look at our current state, cause in a state of emergency, the state emerges to help everyone but me. See, we need a new program. Our troops are being trooped off to Iraq and Afghanistan. We need to take a stand. 20,000 more lives, that's 20,000 reasons why this war we still don't understand. See, we have to come up with a new plan as we fight for better health care, not welfare, because we are not well and it isn't fair. Our people, they're dying out there, from HIV to diabetes, from violence to obesity, because this goes back to our history. See, we need to be taught new history lessons that don't lessen our domain. Our story is much bigger because we are kings and queens. And today, let's lift every voice and sing, because we are singing a new song. Our children need a place where they fit and belong. We need new homes that we can call our own, that we can afford, not just room and board. Instead of being forced in projects, observed as a project, because we demand respect. See, we need new prison laws, being locked behind bars, unjustifiable time that does not justify the crime. But see, you can never imprison our minds. See, that's why we need new schools and colleges, more fun to get it done, because there's no diversity in knowledge. So we need new jobs and contracts. Why am I paid less? Because my skin color is black or colored. Aren't we supposed to be the keeper of our brothers? We're all sisters and brothers. Treat them as an equal, united as a people, Indian, Caucasian, Latino, or Asian, because together we stand when we stand as a nation, because we need a new team. So won't you come join us? Together each achieves more if we only dare to dream.
Once again, you're tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and this is Art Meets Life, and I'm your wonderful host, LJ Bowens, here giving y'all some poems, here giving y'all a good time, and, just sitting here, talking with y'all, vibing out. I'm getting real comfortable being behind this mic and being here at WDRB Media. And, I'm very thankful for the opportunity, and I definitely want you guys to be a part of joining this with me. So once again, guys, if you would like to be a sponsor, if you'd like to get interviewed on this show, if you'd like to endorse the show, definitely get in touch with us. And there's a way you can get in touch with me, and that's by following me on social media. So you can follow me at LJ Poetry, that's ELJA Poetry, at Twitter and Instagram, or you can follow me on my website at www.ljpoetry.com. That's www.eljapoetry.com. So we're at that time, we got to wrap up the show, but I do want to get y'all hyped about next week, because our first official guest will be in the building, and this guest goes by the name of Jay Ward. If you don't know who Jay Ward is, he is a phenomenal spoken word artist, playwright, member of the team known as Slam Charlotte, who is definitely repping. So it's definitely going to be good to have him in the building and give y'all some words of wisdom and chop it up and actually do our first interview. So that's my time, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in to Art Meets Life. And before I go, I got to give y'all a quote for the week, and this quote comes from Steve Maraboli, and I probably pronounced his last name wrong, but we're going to call him Steve. So the quote goes, if you hang out with chickens, you're going to cluck. But if you hang out with eagles, you're going to fly. That's my time, y'all. Remember, purpose over popularity. This is LJ Bowens, and this is Art Meets Life here at WDRB Media, the voice of the community. Peace.
But it's something I just think so. probably find it crazy how I'm attracted to her skin, right? Perfection blending of creation's finest conceived from the plains of, well, you probably catch that drill. See, man's rib begot her, she begot male, we begot nations, God begot us, we build empires. She builds as I build upon these foundations, comparison no equal. And if she become my rib, then she helps me to stand. For it is impossible to walk with broken rib cage. She pivots my existence upon her bare shoulders as I firmly place her life in my arms. Protection is the providence of men given by El Shaddai, and I hold firm her soul upon these concepts. See, as we conceive seeds planted in the midst of our pilgrimage to heaven, indeed she is my better half within. But all you will remember and point out is that I'm attracted to her English chocolate.
Hey, baby, I don't write a lot of love songs, oh, but it's something about your skin tone that got me wanna write you. Send this to my Coco girl. Hey, baby, I don't write a lot of love songs, oh, but it's something about your skin tone that got me wanna write you. Send this to my Coco girl. Hey, baby.
You see, we exist eating fruits from heaven's trees, planted in our connection of righteous roots. And these dig deep, deep into a time before she, before I. We are as Elohim is, she be.